Hello, welcome back to Have Roots, Will Travel. My name, Lisa Elvin Staltari, and I'm a genealogist and a passionate traveler. Over the last few years, I've been focusing my attention on both Les Filles du Roi and Les Filles à Margui to really get a sense of these amazing founding mothers of Quebec, profiling each and every one of them because each and every one of them tells us a story and we need to honor them. Before I begin, let me show you ways you can support the channel. The first three keep you in the know. Subscribe, like, and notify. The next are ways to help the channel grow, either through Ko-fi, which is an external platform, or Patreon, or my YouTube button that's right on the bottom to do the super thanks, and also on my website. A lot of you choose to do it that way as well through PayPal. All of that helps me out so very, very much. I appreciate each and every one of you. And with that being said, let's get started and get to know our filles mariées of this episode. Let us talk a little bit about les filles mariées. These girls, about 262 of them, come before les filles du roi. I always like to make sure that you are aware of this. Most of you who have followed my program and my episodes know this, but I just want to make sure. So between 1634 to 1662, about 28 years, we have about 262 girls that would come to New France and essentially populate or help populate the country. It averages out to about 10 a year. Obviously, that's not enough to create a country. And that is why Jean Talon and the king eventually took it over in 1663 and said, we gotta speed things up a bit. And so, but however, les filles mariées are to be truly treasured because of the fact that they came when there really wasn't a country. They came without any kind of dowry or gifts from the king or anything. Yes, their passages were usually paid. And so we come to episode 91, Marguerite Hayet. And so you will soon see why she is part of a three-story arc. She is the sister of a very famous explorer and the half-sister of two of our future filles mariées that we will be exploring. So let's take a tour of Marguerite's life. No one has requested her. So if you are related to Marguerite, please post in the comments below. We turn our attention to Marguerite. She was born in 1629 in Paris, France. Her parents were Sébastien Hayet and Madeleine Henou. Now, she is from the parish of St. Paul, which was designed and created between 1627 and 1641. Now, the arrondissement, which is the division, if you will, in Paris that she is part of, is the 4th arrondissement. Paris is laid out in circles. And the 4th arrondissement contains the Paris City Hall. It contains the Renaissance Square of Place des Vogues, the Pompidou Center, and parts of Le Marais. And so it is, the eastern parts of it also include Ile de la Cité, which includes Notre Dame. So it's an incredible arrondissement. It's known for its very little streets and cafes, but it's often regarded by Parisians now as being very expensive and congested. I suspect that in her time, it was simply a more elevated area, if you will. Very, probably not as congested as it is now. So let's have a look at when she comes to New France. Now, we believe that Marguerite would come to New France in 1646, just very early on. So a marriage was contracted between Marguerite and Jean Véron, who was born in 1620 in Saint-Martin du Mesnil-Houris in France. It's now known as Livarot, Pays d'Auge. His parents are unknown. The area that he's from is part of the Normandy region, and it is part of the Calvados department. There's 108 people that live here. The commune itself was merged in 2016, so it is no longer known as Saint-Martin. Other than the church, the castle of Saint-Martin is a beautiful one to visit. And although it only dates from the 18th century, it's definitely a beautiful one. So you can see the church that still stands, just an amazing, amazing testament. We believe that they were married the 25th of November, 1646. I have not been able to acquire a copy of that contract. So they were married at Trois-Rivières. So let's have a look at where they settled. So Trois-Rivières is really the second city of Quebec, because the first one, Quebec City, obviously dates from 1608. This city, Trois-Rivières, dates from 1634. It was named Trois-Rivières because the St. Maurice River has three channels that form at the mouth of the St. Lawrence. Trois-Rivières is French for three rivers, so three rivers merge into one. And one of the parts of Trois-Rivières, you can see it on the map, how strategic it is. It really is part of the St. Lawrence. Obviously is very, very central and was an important part in the evolution of Quebec. If you have ancestors in this area, you might be surprised that you may qualify for admission to the Daughters or Sons of the American Revolution, because a very important battle, the Battle of Trois-Rivières, Three Rivers, was fought here in 1776. And so I urge you to look and see if there's any kind of connection in your family tree. They would go on to have three children. Unfortunately, Marguerite would pass away at 18 years of age. Etienne would marry Marie Morel and have 5 children, all of whom would make it. Marie's mother was also a fille mariée, Marie Marjorie, who we profiled in episode 51, and I put the listing for that there in the notes. Guillaume would pass away at the age of 16. Jean was killed by the Iroquois on August 19, 1652, along with Marie Thérier, sœur de Repentigny, and the husband of fellow fille mariée, Jeanne Jaloux. And so this was a really horrific event. I won't go into the details, but those of you who this is your ancestry would need to explore this further. It really, when I read the report of how they were massacred, it was pretty gruesome. So Marguerite at this point has 3 children. They are all alive at this point because 2 of them passed away in their teenage years. So at this point, in 1652, she is left with 3 small children. So the second groom that shows up is Médard Chouart, Sœur de Groseilliers. He was born in 1618 in Charlie-sur-Marne. His parents were Médard Chouart and Marie Poirier. Charlie-sur-Marne literally means Charlie on the Marne River. So you can't get more literal than that. He's part of the Hauts-de-France region that you can see circled up there. And inside of that is the Aisne département, which is the county, if you will. Charlie was an old fortified city dating from the 9th century. And it was renamed Charlie-sur-Marne only in 2006. There are about 2,500 people that live there now. The church dates from the 13th century. Charlie has extensive vineyards of Chardonnay and in particular Pinot Meunier, or just Meunier grapes, used in the production of champagne. So that's kind of a really interesting kind of connection, if you will. Now, Médard has a very interesting history. In 1641 through 1647, we find him in New France working with the Jesuits, either as a donnée, which is kind of a religious volunteer and a religious worker, if you will, or a soldier. So we're not sure. I'm not sure. I haven't confirmed it yet. But by 1647, he marries Hélène Martin and has 2 children. In 1653, he heads an expedition to Acadia and then to Boston for a financial journey to get backing for an expedition to the wonderful Hudson's Bay. Here's where it gets really interesting. We have Radisson and de Groseilliers, and they explore North America. And there's a very famous map that I pulled from the internet. And it basically tells us their journey and where they went. And they went to Michigan, they went to Wisconsin. You can see their influence by the route that he took. The red route is in 1654, and then the green is a later voyage in 1659 and 1660 with Radisson. So it really is an amazing, amazing journey that he was on, and Marguerite was part of it. In the sense that she was not going with him, obviously, but obviously being married to a man that adventurous, he would have needed a very strong woman. Now we come to the part of the story where Marguerite's half-brother becomes part of the story. Pierre Esprit Radisson is her half-brother, and he was a very notable coureur des bois and co-founder of the Hudson Bay Company. And he's often said to have been born in Avignon but raised in Paris. And however, his birth is placed in Saint-Sulpice in Paris, like his sisters that we will be exploring, his full sisters that we'll be exploring in episode 92 and 93. And Radisson's life was truly marked by adventure and hardship, including being tortured by the Iroquois. Alongside his brother-in-law, Médard Chouart, he became a great explorer. In 1660, they returned to the Ottawa River and witnessed the aftermath of Dollard des Ormeau's fort destruction. Remember, in a previous Fille à Marie episode, I talked about Dollard des Ormeaux. So you can see how they're all kind of connected when you examine. And their brigade of 60 canoes laden with furs valued at 300,000 pounds was confiscated by Governor d'Argesson due to a lack of license. The following year, they successfully traded their furs with the English. Radisson later moved to England, marrying a daughter of John Kirke from the Kirke family of Dieppe, who had taken Quebec in 1628. It's just amazing to me how he touches history. His ventures and partnerships significantly contributed to the establishment of the Hudson Bay Company. And the Radisson-Groseilliers Fort is here that you can begin to examine this and look at how much of an impact they made on New France. Marguerite and Médard were married on August 24th, 1653. Just an amazing, amazing kind of connection of history. So they would go on to have 4 children. Unfortunately, only one survived. We have Jean-Baptiste, who passed away at age 24, but did not leave any descendants. We have Marianne and Marguerite, both of whom would pass away at age 6. And then finally, Marie Antoinette would marry Jean-Baptiste Bouchard and would have 6 children, 4 of whom made it to adulthood. Médard would die sometime at Sorel between 1695 and 1698. At almost 80 years of age, he and Marguerite would have been married between 42 and 45 years, a remarkable achievement to be sure. Marguerite herself would pass away in 1711 at the astonishing age of 82. She would leave us but a mere 63 descendants as of 1729. But oh, what a legacy she and Médard left us. I found some further information on a website, Robert Berube, Généalogie et autres histoires, a fascinating account. I've put the link to it. You can have a look at that and get more information if this is your interest. Wasn't Marguerite just astonishing? I just loved her story. I loved how it interwove with history of all different kinds. And I really appreciated her tenacity, her ability to stand by her husband and be his true partner. I mean, they were married for over 40 years, and she lived a nice long life and was able to truly, truly be a pioneer and someone who paved the way for so many. So thank you, Marguerite, for being an extraordinary woman in all of the Filles du Roi and the Filles Mariées, she is among the very, very best that I've seen. So it was a privilege to get to know Marguerite. And I also want to say thank you to my patrons and supporters. You really are the wind beneath my wings. And I appreciate supporters and subscribers. All of you who subscribe really make a difference. So thank you so much. And with that being said, I will see you on the next episode of Les Filles Mariées. Until then, au revoir.